Medley of the Righteous Brothers, and you're listening to BackstageAxxess.com.
You never close your eyes anymore when a kiss your lips. There's no tenderness like before.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to BackstageAxxess.com. We are here this afternoon with the legendary Bill Medley. You know him as being one half of the famous Righteous Brothers and also for his tremendous solo career that gave us such hit songs like I've Had the Time of My Life. He has a brand new book coming out, a memoir, also entitled The Time of My Life. Thank you for taking the time to talk with us this afternoon, Bill. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for taking the time.
Awesome. Let's talk about the new book. How did this project come about?
Well, Mike Marino, the guy that wrote it with me, had contacted me, and I guess the Capo, the publishing company, wanted to do a book, and I never thought about doing a book. I have a million stories and rattling around in my head, and I said, well, maybe this is a good time to do the book and delete some of these stories from my brain.
Well, the book is filled with wonderful stories, and it covers everything from your childhood all the way up to the present day and all the interesting people that you met along the way. And, of course, you know, the Righteous Brothers being such a huge part of your career and your life is covered in depth in the book. Now, You've Lost That Love and Feeling. It was such a huge success, and it really won over the support of the African-American audience, giving you that blue-eyed soul nickname. How important was that one song to your career? How did it really change things, you know, for the Righteous Brothers?
Well, it just changed everything. I mean, we started in '62. We had some California hits, or West Coast hits, Little Latin Loopy-Loo and My Babe and some songs like that. And then we recorded Love and Feeling, and with Phil Spector, and it just it turned our lives upside down. I mean, and we were doing a national TV show called Shindig, and we were regulars on that, and it was a national show. And so in '64 and '65, boy, we got, you know, went from 0 to 100 in about a 3-month time.
Right. Right, and that song happens to be, I think, the most played single on the radio ever. Is that correct?
Yes, apparently it's the most played record in the history of American radio, which is pretty hard to screw your head on to.
Now, in the book, you're very honest in talking about your relationships, you know, especially with Bobby Hatfield, the other half of the Righteous Brothers. Now, of course, the world has lost Bobby, but how were things between you before he passed? Do you think you would still be playing somewhat together today?
Oh, yeah, I think if Bobby is alive, we would still be out there working together. About the last 13 years of our career was some of the best, if not the best, times we had, because there was really no pressure, and we, you know, you go out on stage to relive those memories for the audience. So there wasn't any pressure. You know, Bobby and I just had different comfort zones. Bobby was more comfortable with kind of the first part of our career where there wasn't so much pressure.
Right.
And then when we got to Love and Feeling, we had managers and agents, and it became big business. Bobby was a little uncomfortable with that, and I loved it, so I kind of tried to stretch Bobby into that, and I didn't know it at the time, but it probably wasn't a good thing to do. He was more comfortable with just being, you know, having fun singing and rock and roll, you know.
Right. Now, also in the book, you talk about so many legends that you've had the opportunity to meet with and, work with in your career, Sinatra, Elvis. I mean, the list is a mile long, literally. Is there one experience that stands out the most to you, something that you'll never forget?
Well, yeah, Elvis Presley became a real good friend of mine, and we were on the first American Beatle tour, the first American Rolling Stone tour, but the thing that we were the most excited about and proud of was when we were the opening act for Jack Benny.
Okay.
Back in '66, and we were huge friends, not huge friends, fans of Jack Benny, and we got to do about a 20-minute monologue with Jack on stage, and it was just a thrill for us. It was unbelievable.
Awesome. The first of many dreams to come true in this stellar career.
Yeah.
Now, you also get into a lot of personal things in the book. You talk about your romantic relationships with your children, and the horrible murder of your first wife, Karen. How difficult was it to relive some of those times, to do the book, or was it more cathartic to kind of clear your mind and get the stories out there finally?
Well, it actually was, seemed like 2 or 3 months of going to the shrink, and Mike Marino, the gentleman that wrote it with me, he would set a recorder down, and that's why the book sounds so much like me, because it is my words. He just recorded it and then he wrote it down. But he is a psychologist, and so sometimes I would finish the question, and then he would say, well, how did that make you feel? So it was, and I came up with, a lot of things about Bobby and I, and a lot of realizations about us and who we were, and how we were as partners. We weren't any better or any worse with our relationship than all the duos. It's very hard. It's very hard to have a band or a duo. Duo is real tough. We always said we would have been better off if we were a trio, because there would have been a tiebreaker.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, a huge part of your career has been centered in and around Vegas, and you've had just long-standing, gigs there. What is the best thing about having something ongoing like that, and what's the worst?
Well, there's nothing bad about it. I'll tell you that. When Jerry Prencho, who was our agent at the time and kind of semi-managed us, the minute Love and Feeling became real big, he said, I want you guys to go to Vegas because it will pay off for you all through your career. And Frank Sinatra brought us to Las Vegas when we were 25, and here we are, the first rock and roll act to work a main hotel there. We were at the Sands Hotel, working with the Rat Pack and this and that, and I mean, it was amazing. But when Bobby and I broke up for, I think, 5 or 6 years in '68, Las Vegas, pretty much saved my life. I worked a lot there. Of course, Elvis Presley was a good friend, and I ended up working at the Hilton International, and I think Elvis was pretty instrumental in bringing me over there.
Wow. Fantastic. Now, your career also had a lot to do with movies, more in your later career. The Time of My Life, Dirty Dancing, Unchained Melody was in the movie Ghost. Do you think that opened up your music to a newer, younger audience and brought some new fans into the fold?
Yeah, in '89, they put Love and Feeling and Top Gun, and then the next year was Time of My Life and with Dirty Dancing, and the next year was Unchained Melody in Ghost, and we were just back and hotter than ever.
Right.
And that's what I mean. From 1990 until Bobby passed in 2003, it was just a ball. We had a great time, and there was no pressure on either one of us. We were both comfortable in our skin at that point, and it was the best 13 years of our career.
Right. Now, before Bobby did pass in 2003, the Righteous Brothers were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So I imagine that you're very happy it happened before he left us. What was that experience like, and why did it take the Hall so long to get you guys in there?
Well, I understand it took a long time because it was a political thing, is what we were told, and at that by that time we just figured, well, we're not going in.
Right.
So we started convincing ourselves that we didn't care. Who cares? It's a rock and roll. Who cares about it? And then my manager called and said that we were going in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Well, we were nominated, and man, it was a great feeling. It was because we were a little disappointed because we kind of fit all the the what they would call the criteria of going in, that your career had something to do with changing music, and we felt that, being two white guys bringing in sounding black and bringing in rhythm and blues, that we really did, brought blue-eyed soul in, and so we thought we deserved to go in. And then, thank God, in 2003, Billy Joel inducted us in March, and then Bobby passed away that year in November.
Right. I'm glad he got to live that before he passed.
Yeah, it was a great night for us. It was a great. It was, really the industry giving us the stamp of approval. Like we were there and we meant something, and there was a lot of great other rock and roll, stars there that night, and they were very complimentary, and we had our families with us, so it was a great, actually great 3 or 4 days in New York.
Fantastic. Now, I'm sure you were the inspiration for many artists, and you have an album out that's kind of speaks to the artists that inspired you, dedicated to the rhythm and blues, Your Heart to Mine. Can you tell us a little bit about this record?
Yeah, it's an album that actually I've wanted to do for years, and it is all the great black artists in the 50s that Bobby and I were so turned on to and learned so much from. So I took, like, Ray Charles is my hero, and so I took Ray Charles. I took my favorite song by Ray Charles, my favorite song by B.B. King, favorite song by Sam Cooke, and a lot of those guys, and it was kind of a thank you for giving Bobby and I such a wonderful life.
Super. Now, you're doing a tour right now. Are you including those blues songs out on this tour?
Yeah, I wrote a song actually for the blues album, and it's called "This Will Be the Last Time." It's called "This Will Be the Last Time I Ever Have Blues," and I do that in my show, and it gets great reaction, and I always like to do a blues in my show because that's really what I consider myself, as a blues singer that got lucky with some beautiful songs like "Love and Feeling" and "Unchained Melody" and "Time of My Life."
Right. Now, after such a stellar career and everything you've accomplished, what's next for Bill Medley?
Oh, boy, I'm 73, and I'm surprised they wanted me to do this book. They came after me, and I'm so glad that I did it. But I have a 27-year-old daughter who lives in Nashville and is a great singer and songwriter. So kind of my focus is on her. But I love to go out and perform, and she performs with me. She does Time of My Life with me, and so it's pretty much on my family and going out and doing 50, 60 concerts a year, and just being able to talk to the fans now. When we were hot, they would run you in and out, and you never got a chance to talk. To the audience and talk to the fans. And now I go out and sign autographs and do all that, and it's so wonderful to hear all the stories, and some of the babies that we were responsible for.
I'm sure. The book is excellent. I urge anyone who's interested in not only rock and roll, but just music in general to pick it up and give it a read. The stories in there just can't be beat. You've had an incredible life. Truly, the title fits the book, The Time of My Life. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are here with one of the great legends of rock and roll, Bill Medley. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you, and I thank the fans out there. Thank you for such a great life.